Welcome to What the Tech, where we cut through the hype to bring you the news you can use. Okay, let's dive right into it. We're talking about those self-driving cars you see everywhere now. But are they really driving themselves? Let's dig in. So, you've probably seen them, right? Cruising through big cities, these futuristic robotaxis from companies like Waymo, and they look like they're handling all that crazy traffic completely on their own. But what happens when they get stumped? When the software just doesn't know what to do next. Well, that's exactly what Waymo's chief safety officer, Mauricio Pena, had to answer in a recent congressional hearing. And his answer was, well, kind of surprising. He just said they provide guidance. Okay, so who exactly are they? It turns out they are actual human beings. They're called fleet response agents. And here's the kicker. While some are in the US, others are located thousands of miles away in places like the Philippines. Yeah, they're the ones who get the call when the car's super advanced software just gets confused. Waymo itself has actually compared this whole system to a phone a friend. I'm not kidding. When the car gets into a tricky spot, it essentially calls a human for help. Now, on one hand, it's a practical solution, but it also opens up a whole can of worms, doesn't it? So, how does this remote assistance thing really work? Let's break down the process. And this part is absolutely crucial to understand. This is not about someone remotely driving the car like it's a video game. It's a system of remote suggestion. So first, the car's software flags an issue. Maybe it's a weird construction zone it can't figure out. Then it zips its camera feeds and sensor data over to a human agent. That agent looks at everything and can suggest a path forward. But here's the key part. The car's own software, what Waymo calls the Waymo driver, makes the final decision. It has the ultimate authority to either take that suggestion or just ignore it. The car is still in charge. So let's be super clear about this. The remote agents can see what the car sees, and they can suggest things like, hey, maybe try that lane. But what they absolutely cannot do is directly steer, hit the brakes, or touch the accelerator. Think of it like a hard wall. Companies like Waymo and Tesla are very firm that these core driving functions are in a secure layer that just can't be accessed remotely. Hey, if you appreciate us cutting through the spin to get you the real story like this, do us a quick favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to What the Tech for more news you can use, and definitely drop a comment below. We really want to hear what you think about all this. All right, so now let's get into the risks and the big concerns. The timing of this whole revelation couldn't have been worse for Waymo. This all came out in a congressional hearing just 1 week after one of their robotaxis was in an incident that injured a cyclist, which kicked off a federal probe. So, as you can imagine, lawmakers were not thrilled to hear about overseas operators. Yeah, Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts was especially vocal. He pretty much said, wait a minute, having people overseas influencing American vehicles, that's a safety issue. And he laid out a whole bunch of potential risks this remote system introduces, from the technical all the way to the geopolitical. Okay, first up, the technical risks. You've got latency, that's the delay. Can guidance coming from thousands of miles away actually get there fast enough to be useful? Even a 1-second lag could be a huge problem. Then there's cybersecurity. Any remote access point is just another door for hackers to try and kick in. And, just common sense. Can someone in a different country really grasp the nuances of a chaotic intersection in San Francisco? And then you get to the human and geopolitical stuff. And this is where the debate got really heated. People started asking, are U.S. driving jobs being sent overseas? Who are these remote operators? Do they have U.S. driver's licenses? How on earth are they vetted? And what about the physical security of those remote centers? What's to stop a bad actor from getting inside? And this all leads to the biggest, most serious concern, which Senator Markey put very bluntly. He warned that these heavy and fast-moving vehicles could quickly become the weapons of foreign actors seeking to harm innocent Americans. I mean, that is a heavy statement. It's the absolute worst-case scenario, the idea that these systems could be weaponized to cause chaos on our roads. So with all these serious issues out in the open, what happens next? Here's what you should be keeping an eye on. The big thing to watch for is the result of that federal investigation into Waymo. You can also bet we're going to see new proposals in Congress trying to force these companies to disclose where their operators are. And we should see a bigger push for clear industry standards on security, transparency, and just how often this remote help is actually being used. So what's the news you can actually use? It's pretty simple. As a writer or just a citizen, your most powerful tool is asking questions.
Demand to know the safety protocols, ask how often they use human assistance, and push policymakers to create clear, transparent standards for any of these human-in-the-loop systems. The more we all know, the safer they'll become.
And that leaves us with this final, crucial question. When a human is just a call away, what does self-driving really mean? The dream of full, hands-off autonomy is an incredible goal, but it's clearly still a work in progress. And for the foreseeable future, it seems there's always going to be a human in the machine, even if they're an ocean away.